on another episode of Meet the Elite, and here I am sitting with the OG of the Elite, my favorite person, my best friend, my soulmate, my business partner, my workout partner, my wine drinking partner, my everything, my sister, Brittany Hernandez.
Oh my goodness. I love that intro. I feel so formally welcomed.
But, I said you are the OG of the Elite. You've been doing this like a really long time. Even though, I mean, you're only 21, but like, tell us, like, from the very beginning, Brittany, go back.
Well, let's see. This journey started in high school. I can't believe it. I needed a job. I was 16, and a girl's like, "Oh, my aunt's hiring a receptionist at Century 21." I was like, "Okay." I don't even know what Century 21 was, but so I showed up and got the job, and I winged it. And boy, did I do a great job because I never left the industry. No, but I think it's important for any person, or I'm trying to teach Michaela, my daughter. I'm like, you have to put in the work to succeed. And sometimes you have to start at the bottom. In the
Yes.
receptionist's office, you start at the bottom. That's where you hear all the problems and you learn from listening. Kids need to learn that. Like, sit down, listen to conversations around you, and that's where you're going to learn to succeed or not repeat others' mistakes. But I learned so much from being a receptionist, and then it made me want to go to real estate school. So my senior year of high school, I don't know, somehow I talked my mom into going to real estate school with me, and she did it for me. But so me and my mom went to real estate school my senior year and got my license, and it was the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, so our mom was actually a realtor when we were little kids. And then she noticed that the schedule was kind of all over the place. If a buyer needs to go look for a house, you jump in, you go. And she um
Had 3 little
had
kids.
3 little kids, so it was just too much for her. So that's when she decided to go into teaching, and she was a teacher for 30 years. Um, but, real estate, we did grow up in the industry, so I think that did help. There's even stories of Brittany at 5 years old. My mom would write a note on notebook pads, like,
Yes.
just what we were into at that time, different milestones, like a journal to us from her. And in one of the journals, it was when Brittany was how
5
5, Brittany would go into the newspaper and circle homes that were listed for sale
and cars.
and cars, and would give them to my parents and tell them that they
These
need
are a
to
great deal. You should
yeah,
buy it.
we need to buy it because it's a great deal. So
They
she
never took my advice.
they should have taken your financial advice, when you were a kid, and maybe they would have been in a better spot.
So I guess from an early age, she knew I was gonna be in some sort of sales,
Yeah,
but your mom always knows.
for sure. For sure. And now it's like telling our kids, like, we know what's best for our kids. They think we don't know anything, but I really wish like I would have taken my mom's advice or your advice because Brittany was like my mom too. There's only 4 years, a little less than 4 years between us, but Brittany's always been super mature, on it, responsible, like 10 years ahead of her time. And then here I was, at 16. Yes, I was a receptionist, but only because she made me
Yeah.
be a receptionist at her office. But like I was just a little later. I like to go out, party,
I was
go to
just
football
trying.
games, the whole spiel. So, I was later to the game, but yeah, I did start in the real estate world at 16 as well, at my first job.
I know. I did try to line you up for success. It just took you 10 years to get there,
I
but
just had
you
to go
did it.
I had to go with my own path. I don't think I was ready at 18 to, like, have this full-blown career. Like, at 18, my biggest focus was cheering in college. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I
Wait,
made it because made it to the ASU football team or the field. But now looking back, like, that's such a little part of life, but at 18 years old, that was my life.
yeah, but on the other end, I didn't have that life, and looking back, I wish I would have had more fun younger, because I think there you also learn life lessons.
Yeah,
So
but
it's a two-way street.
you're having a lot of fun now in your 40s.
I know, I'm living like I'm 18
40 and
or
thriving,
21.
there you go.
Oh, 40 and driving and lower insurance. That's a win, right?
Yeah, AARP.
Oh god. I'm already getting those.
What's the biggest difference you think being in your 40s than your 30s?
I think I'm more relaxed and settled, and you learn to go with the flow. and you realize some things aren't as important as you thought they were and that life continues. Yes, something might go wrong, but a week down the road, something new comes and last week didn't matter.
Yeah.
I think you kind of just learn to go with the punches and not care as much and just know that in the end, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm just still in my 30s, so I don't know what that's about, but Brittany did see a podcast recently, and she said, "Brie, I think you're under perimenopause. You're hitting all the symptoms. Hair loss, lack of sleep, um, tired all the time." Like, what were the other symptoms? And you're like, "This is you, irritable." You know? We're
I was
together a
like,
lot.
I diagnosed you from the internet, and
Yeah,
I think I'm correct.
so then, of course, I go to a naturopath. I'm like, "Oh my god, my sister said I'm in perimenopause. She's never steered me wrong before. Dr. Brittany over here." So I go to the naturopath, and she said I could very much likely be, but it's also the same exact symptoms of having a newborn baby. And I had a newborn baby in my late 30s.
I just wanted you to feel
So
older, so I'm like, "You are just old, and these are your symptoms."
yeah, I think they're your symptoms. You're just trying to like project them on me so you're not alone.
I was like, "Okay, so I have, like, 3 less symptoms than Bree, so am I, like, kinda younger?"
You're just so young. You're just so
No. I mean, you used to use my ID to be 21, and now I'm
yeah,
like, "Can I use your ID so I could be 39-ish?"
ish, ish. Yeah, isn't that so funny? Like back when we were younger, they had fake IDs. You could just pay $200 to somebody, go into a back room, get your picture taken, and bam, you had an ID, right?
Yes.
Um, they're way different now. You have to scan them, they're fancy. But Brittany was like the best big sister ever and would make her, like, height in between our heights, our weights in between our weights. She even tried to look like me in her photo,
It worked.
and it worked. I got my belly button pierced.
Oh gosh, mom will never forgive us for that.
I got a tattoo, and I definitely took it to Applebee's a few times and had a margarita, you know?
You only had the courage to go to Applebee's.
Yeah, I wasn't that brave. I am still a goody good, but, a little bit rebellious at times.
Yeah, you might have got taken away on Mill Avenue.
Mill Avenue, that's only when you go when you have a legit ID, which I did do, but, like, when I was closer to being 21. Okay, so Brittany, you started going back to the beginning of your real estate world. You started as a receptionist, and then how did you get over to after Century 21? What did you do?
Yeah, well, then I moved to Remax, which was closer to our home, and I was a receptionist there for a few years. It was a perfect job in college because I could work the weekends, I could work the afternoon shifts, and it just worked out perfectly with my schedule, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the conversations, I enjoyed real estate, I enjoyed agents talking about what they were showing. Back then, we didn't really have the internet. So you had a listing book and we would have to put the listings in it. And I loved seeing what was new on the market, what sold. And it just intrigued me. And it was the best college job I had.
Yeah, so Brittany got started during the boom.
I did.
Yep,
And
and then
so I had an amazing freshman year.
yeah, in college, she was making money, like real money, but she also worked all the time. But then what happened after the boom?
Well, then it crashed. But I took that as a turning point. So I went from sales into property management. And that was one of the best decisions I made because that's when all the investors were coming in, buying buying rental property, investment properties for $60,000 for a single family home. I'm like, these days you can't even buy a car for 60,000.
Mhm.
Um, I was young. I wish I had the money. I would have invested then. But looking back, those people did amazing, and I'm so happy I was able to help them. And a lot of them kept their houses for 10 years, so I got to manage them monthly for them for 10 years solid. And it was a great source of income, and I'm glad I got introduced to property management because if the boom never happened, I probably never would have explored that industry.
Yeah, and I think property management is kind of an avenue that a lot of agents don't hit because it is scary, but it's great residual income. Like we kind of know exactly what we're getting into. Like each month we know that our bills are paid for. And then with that being said though, the investors a lot of our investors, they're not like 1 or 2 home type of investors. There's like, "Hey, I wanna buy a portfolio of 20 homes. I wanna sell a
Mhm.
portfolio of 50 homes." So, kind of when we do business, there are peaks and flows, but
Yes.
when it's booming, it's booming. So,
Yeah,
that
that's very true. It works out all around.
Mhm.
And it's a I don't know. You always have fun stories with property management. It's always entertaining.
Uh-huh.
You never know what the day is going to have in store. And I like that because it keeps you on your toes. It keeps every day moving. You're never stuck. There's
Yeah.
always something going on and it makes you feel productive.
Yeah. I still remember so I was a receptionist. I then became a high school teacher for 4 years. Absolutely hated it. Don't recommend to anyone. It's the hardest job ever. And I started working for Brittany. I was her assistant, got my real estate license, was her assistant, would follow her everywhere. Mostly, I would drive with her so she could work as we drove appointment to appointment because this girl literally works from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, still does. And I learned so much just driving with her, listening to her phone calls. And then finally, after a year of me doing this, I would start doing her move-ins, move-outs for her. My very first move out. Very first one. I get to the house and the house had a pool, and then the house was filled with dirt to the top of the pool. Like they got rid of the pool, they filled it with dirt. And I call her up, and this is before camera phones were really that good. We had like the old school
Yeah.
camera phone. I'm like, "Brittany, the pool has dirt in it." And she's like, "Oh, it's fine. The pool guy will come and clean it, whatever." Like, "No, Brittany, like it's full of dirt."
I don't remember this story.
You know? Yeah.
No.
So I wish we could find a picture, but it was a pool completely full, except you had like little rocks, and then the slide. There was a slide
Oh
going to
gosh.
nothing, a pool slide. And I asked the tenants, "Well, what happened to the pool?" And they're like, "Oh, well, it was just like getting dirty all the time. And there was a guy with free dirt in his truck and he said that he could dump it in, so we just filled it in. We didn't want to worry about the dirty pool." And I was like, "Oh gosh." And so I remember I called you and I was like,
Oh
"No,
my
you need to
goodness.
come see this." Like,
I seriously do not remember.
yeah, that's my very first move in. But we have a lot of crazy stories.
Yeah,
So
they
like
all
it wasn't even memorable on her end because she does thousands of them.
that's sad, that's not memorable because
Yeah.
that's a big one.
It was very memorable to me because 'cause I'm like, "I'm gonna get in trouble for this," even though I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Oh, that is so funny.
Yep.
But yeah, I've the things you see and the people you run into that aren't supposed to be there.
Oh god.
That's another train wreck.
That's the scary part about property management, though, is us as females, too. You're
Mhm.
4'9¾", and I'm just a little over 5 foot, but when we're going into these vacant homes in some of these scary neighborhoods,
Yeah, you never know who's gonna be inside
you have
sometimes.
to be ready at all times, you know? We've done all of the safety courses and everything, but it's scary. And how are you going to handle certain situations with homeless people? Um, I know we've encountered quite a few.
Yeah, and it's so funny. Brittany at 20 thought she was hot stuff and would just go in there and talk to them and be like, "Hey, get out." These days, I'm a little smarter. I just shut the door, call the police, and let them deal with it.
Yeah, that's the smarter route to
Yeah,
go.
but it's like the difference with experience.
Yeah.
You learn what to do and what not to do. And I probably could have landed into some pretty dangerous positions if I wasn't that careful.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about dangerous situations too, I know that you and we both even get like a lot of phone calls that are very inappropriate, like from tenants or people trying to rent out a property. Brittany's even had people expose themselves to her. Um, just situations that you wouldn't want to be in. And that's a part of real estate people don't always talk about. But yeah, there are scary situations and bad things do happen to real estate agents. So it's important for us to be one step ahead to not put ourselves in those positions that we've learned from through the years.
And that's true. And unfortunately, that comes with time and experience. And people don't realize all that. Sometimes they just see the screenshots on Instagram, all the pretty homes and all
Mhm.
the great testimonials, but it takes practice and time and education to become a very successful agent real round and to be well rounded.
Yeah, definitely. Um, so when did you become a broker?
I was 21 because I got my license at 18, and you
Okay.
have to be licensed for at least 3 years to get your broker's license.
Yeah.
And I kind of just went for it.
Being a broker, does that have any other responsibilities than like a salesperson?
No, not necessarily, because you can do all the same things as a sales agent, except if you wanted to, you can open up your own practice or office. That was never my intention. I just kind of wanted it for the more education
Mhm.
and because I liked school back then. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do more hours, and I got it, and it's something that you cannot be taken away
Yeah.
unless, unless you do something bad. But so far,
I think our mom instilled that in us at a young age too, is like material items can be taken away at any time, but an education will be with you forever. So like not going to college was not an option for us. Like, did she help pay for our college? No, but she helped us with other resources and I think the knowledge to make sure that we got an education.
yeah, she would always set us up for success.
Yes, yes, and I think as females, that's so important because I know what I'm seeing now with people our age, sometimes relationships don't work. A lot of times they don't work, and we see maybe some different friends, like, almost stuck because they are now stay-at-home moms or they've been out of the work field for 10 years, and my mom taught us to never be stuck, to always have your independence, make sure you can take care of yourself and your family without ever needing anyone, and I'm super thankful for that, and I wish all females had that same mentality. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a stay-at-home mom, but you always have to be one step ahead just in case life has a
Plans.
different plans that you didn't
Yeah.
see ever happen. And in our industry too, we do a lot with relationships, people get married, or when we started real estate, people wanted to be their first condo close to
Yeah.
ASU. So she helped with that side. And then they met their significant other. They wanted to buy a house together. And then their family grew. They want the bigger home. Her kids are getting bigger. They want a house with a pool. Now that we are, around 40, now we're seeing divorces happen. People are now dividing assets and, downsizing again. So it's just kind of weird the roller coasters that we have seen being in real estate so long.
That's true. I mean, this is a relationship based business because you need to establish a relationship from the beginning because these people are making the biggest financial decisions
Yeah.
of their life
Yeah.
and they want to do it with someone they trust.
Mhm.
So it's very important that you establish that on day one
Yes.
because you need that going all the way through because your goal is to keep them as a client for your life, for
Yeah.
their life. And because the referral business is very important in this company,
Yes.
in this business, because that's who you rely on in 10 years to hopefully buy another house. But everyone will go through that roller coaster and time changes and life changes. And um, your house sometimes you just is a change too.
Yeah, and with all of that being said, it's like we're here to help you with your home situations, but a lot of times we're also here to listen.
Oh, yes, we are also therapists.
Yeah, because making sure that you're settled and your kids are settled, those are big situations and that can take part in your decision making when it comes to relationships, either upsizing, downsizing, splitting assets, whatever. Like we are a sounding board
Yeah, and
and we're
they're
going to think not emotionally, but, you know, protecting your investment and making sure that you are taken care of the best that you can
yeah, because
be.
this is a very emotional decision for
Mhm.
your client
Yeah.
versus you're going to be the neutral party and stay calm and keep them collective
Yes.
so they can make the best decision. So your goal is to guide them to
Yeah.
make them feel comfortable with whatever decision they make.
Yeah. Right now, I have a client that is going through a divorce, unfortunately, and we are trying to buy a home. And what we're seeing right now, like new builds, these interest rates are like unheard of. I'm getting emails where some new builders are in the threes. Like, how is a 3% home loan able to compete with a resale in the sixes? Like, the mortgage payment is, $1,000 difference, plus or minus, but it's such a big difference by going new build and resale. But what are some of the downsides that you're seeing with these super low interest rates?
Well, I mean, there's lots of benefits and lots of cons, but you have to think about which communities are offering these incentives. Usually they're communities that are kind of on the outskirts of town,
Yeah.
and they need to offer these incentives to get the buyers to their door. So you're getting an influx of buyers to fill a community
Mhm.
quickly because that's the builder's goal is they want to build and be done and move on because that's their business.
Exactly, which might be great opportunities for our
Oh, great
clients
opportunities. If
to get
you're
in for a small monthly,
yes.
smaller monthly payment.
And if you're a client who is investing in the long term, if you plan on being there 5, 10 years, it is probably a great investment for you to do. But if you're someone who's going to be there short term, thinking, oh, this is my intermediate house, I'll be here maybe 2 to 3 years, you might want to reconsider
Yeah.
because you're still going to be competing against the builders surrounding you,
Mhm.
offering the amazing incentives when you go to resell.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, and I mean, I'm seeing that on the market. We're looking at the resales, but we're looking at the new builds. And these resales, they don't have a chance. So when they actually go to sell, they're gonna have to come to the table just to be marketable and equal with these new builds. And that's something that people don't think about when they're getting into those new build situations with the low interest rates. Um, I think you hit it on the nail. It's like you have to be in it for the long-term game if you do go that route.
Yeah, well, and I am showing houses in Mesa, which is a booming area,
Yeah.
and I've actually full listings where they'll even advertise it right on the listing, buying below what the seller paid,
Mhm.
and these sellers are walking away negative.
Yeah. And we haven't seen that in a
A long
while.
time.
Yeah, where people are having to come to the table because we've been in a spot in, at least the last 10 years where homes are appreciating and people now have, in a lot of situations, a lot of equity.
Yes, and this is the first time in a long time we've been in a buyer's market,
Yeah,
and it's changing the landscape of our industry.
absolutely. And I think sellers, they aren't realistic with the changing
Because
market.
it's new, so they
It's new. We're used to home selling in a weekend, 2 weeks, but now in some of our communities, days on market is over 100.
yeah,
And trying to tell a seller, this is the norm now. You need to make sure you're pricing correctly. You
to
can't
begin with.
you can't ask for top dollar or what the same exact home for went for 6 months ago. We're not there anymore.
No.
But I think the biggest thing about when we have the sellers is letting them know from the very beginning what to expect. We're going to have to do a price drop, after week 2 if we don't get an offer, and making sure that they are okay with that from the beginning. Because guess what? Us coming into this listing appointment, might not tell you what you want to hear as
Yeah,
a seller, but we are going to be truthful and honest
and realistic.
and realistic. So I don't know. I think that goes a long way. I don't want to set up for expectations that we cannot fulfill.
That's the best thing you can do for any client is to lay out the groundwork.
Yeah, and I think a lot of newer agents or even seasoned agents, they're going to the listing appointment. They're telling people, your home is worth X amount of dollars, but therefore they go with them and then no, it's not selling. You're not even getting showings. So then they're having to relist it. And then we're taking over a lot of those listings and we're just realistic from them from the beginning. So they um know what to expect. So we can hopefully get to the finish line and get that home closed so they can, move on.
That's true. And another thing that's becoming more and more frequent is houses not going through. Like we'll get offers on houses and then something will happen and the buyers cannot fulfill. You're seeing that a lot more in today's market than you've seen in the past.
Yeah, no, I think that it is huge. And as agents, listing agents, it's up to us to really do our due diligence when we do get offers on our listings to call the lender and see exactly where they're at with that pre-qualification.
Mhm.
Because some lenders, they're just sending in a pre-qual, whatever, but really the buyer hasn't even done the all of the steps to deserve that prequel, and then they're not able to perform on the loan, and then everyone's like, it's no good for anyone, the buyer, the seller, the agents on either side, like,
Yeah,
it's just better to do our due diligence, make sure the buyers are really pre-qualified, and hopefully pick the buyer that's the most pre-qualified with the offer to, again, get the home sold.
agreed. Well, and another thing that's also on a rise right now is foreclosures. Have you
Mhm.
noticed that?
I had a call yesterday about a pre-foreclosure, and this one is sad, I think, because a lot of people, if you've owned your home for a few years, you have equity. And if you go into foreclosure and you lose your home, you lose that equity. And if you were to just reach out to us, to any agent, and say, hey, I'm having this financial hardship. Um, I don't wanna miss out on my equity. What are my options? We can definitely help you, you know, give you some different resources to help you make the most educated decision to protect yourself and the equity that you do have in your
Yeah.
home.
Well, that's it. It's better to walk away with something than nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's times where, yeah, you might not walk away with all the equity, but at least you can have some money to put in your pocket to have at a later date or to help you pay for rent in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there might be a chance you won't be able to buy for a little while
Yeah.
because you're in this position. You need to rebuild your credit, but at least you're going to have a small safety net
Mhm.
that you can pull from. Um, and reach out. Like, don't, everyone doesn't need to know your financial business, but find someone you trust, tell them what's going on, and they can help you just so you're not walking away empty handed. Like, we have a handful of investors who'll pay cash for a house.
Yes.
As long as it's the right price, they will pay cash and they will close in 10 days.
Mhm.
So there's no reason you have 30, well, 90 days once you get that first notice that you're in foreclosure. There's a way to correct it. You have time. It's just a matter of you taking the steps. I know being embarrassed is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes your pride,
Yeah.
but you also want to look out for your best interest, your family's best interests. And
Hopefully coming out with a win in a crappy situation.
exactly.
Yeah. I think that's huge, and I think we're
Because,
seeing more of that. I mean, we're nowhere near crash
no,
levels of foreclosures, but they are happening. People are
yeah.
having hard times, but
But
there
a
are
lot
a
of
way out of
people,
it.
yeah, some people don't even think of other options.
Yeah.
They just think it's a lost cause or I can't sell it that quickly. You
Yeah.
might be able to, but it's going to cost you something. It's
Yes.
not gonna. You're not gonna walk away scared, like whatever.
Top dollar on your house.
Yeah,
Um, but it's just better, like, you earned that equity. You should deserve it, not the banks.
exactly.
Yeah. Um, anything else we wanna hit on? I mean, Brittany and I could sit here and just talk all day, every day, but that's what we do, like, normally on the
In the
phone,
car.
on the car, yeah, but we talk about, you know, real estate, family, the balance of family life and real estate, I think is a good one that we could hit on.
Yeah, it is. Because you're in a new transition of having a new baby and reestablishing your time.
Yeah.
Because you're used to being your older kids are at school. You
Yeah.
had all day to do your tasks.
Yep.
And now you have a little baby that you have to take care of in between those tasks.
Yeah, we found out we were pregnant with Liam the day Oliver started kindergarten. So as soon as you think you're like,
You
"Oh,
made
we made it, we're
it.
free, all my kids are in school, I'm gonna go to Pilates every day, I'm gonna go get coffee with my friends, I'm gonna go do," I had so many, like, a life in my head, and then here comes Liam,
And
like,
they're like, you
"Hey."
can't even go out for wine on Tuesday.
Yeah, or if I wanna go out for wine, I have to plan it on my breastfeeding schedule, on his nap time, and, like, it's a lot. but it's all worth it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but
Yeah, but
it
your days are different than they were last year,
yes, they
but
are.
you can still make it work.
I'm I make it work with my mom, our mom. She's so helpful. I don't know
Yeah.
what I would do without her. I think I s
Family help is important.
it is, it takes a village, and I see why a lot of times one spouse has to stay home because now with having 3 kids, it's a lot. They all have their own activities, they're all on their own schedules, they wanna have
Yeah.
play dates, and it is difficult, but, with our village, like, I think I'm doing a good job balancing
Yeah,
now
I think you
that
are, and you've learned to ask for help.
yes,
That's important. You have my mom,
our
our
mom.
mom. You have Michaela. So Michaela will drive Brooklyn if Brooklyn needs a ride to practice.
Yes.
She's there.
She's the only babysitter that I've had with Liam
Yeah.
besides my mom or other grandma. Um, she is 16 years old, but she is so mature beyond her years. Like
She's our
it
mini
just
me.
it becomes natural or it's just natural for her and like I trust her with a newborn, which sounds crazy, but I do.
Yeah,
And
she's
she does a
great with
really
him.
good
Well,
she does
she
a really
loves
good job.
him.
I think that's a difference though.
Yeah.
It's like when you know your babysitters love your babies just
Yeah.
as much as you do.
She loves him.
Yeah, than a random person, on, your neighborhood Facebook group, like trying to get money for whatever.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a babysitter or a dog sitter, Michaela is available. Reach out.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, but we also have like us, um, we had a foreign exchange student. She
Oh,
was
Sophia.
yeah, we love her. She's part of our family. She lived with us when she was in high school and then came back for college. She lived with us for her first year in college and then wasn't expecting a newborn baby
No.
to come live with. And so it was just a hard transition for everyone. And then
So we transitioned her over to my house.
transitioned her to Brittany. So now she
So we
lives with
share
Brittany.
everything.
We
No.
really do share
But we
everything.
love having Sophia with us.
Yes.
She's a great fit for our family because I have older kids. I have teenagers
Hmm.
and they're closer to her age. So they have a little bit more in common with her. And it's been great for Michaela having, because Michaela loves having like big sister.
Yeah.
I, fortunately, she's the oldest, so she didn't have that. So Sophia's there filling that void.
Yeah. And she turned 21 yesterday, so
I
it should
know. We're
be
excited for that.
a whole different, fun experience when she gets back home
Next week, Monday.
Monday,
Should be
so
on
we're
Monday.
excited for that. We gotta show her all the good spots, but, like, what are the good spots? Because when we go out, it's just your house or my house, or maybe we'll go to, like,
Postinos.
Postino's, like, we don't get out too much,
She's
so
going to be like, these are not cool spots.
she's like, "I don't even like wine," so
She's like, "Where do the 21-year-olds go?" I'm like,
I have
"What
no
are you
clue.
saying?
Yeah, what do you say? We are
I don't
cool,
know
we
where the
are
hot
hip.
spots are."
Aunt Brittany's is the cool spot,
What,
okay? Have
Blue
you not seen her
32
bar?
doesn't work?
But that should be fun.
Yeah.
But we gotta get her into real estate now and,
Yeah.
seeing if maybe that's the avenue she wants to go
Well, she is a
here.
college student. She's exploring her options.
Yeah.
So, sales might be it for her. We'll
There we
see.
go. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. This is your latest episode of Meet the Elite. Until next time.